Number 9. The accent that came from nowhere. You wake up, speak your first words, and your voice sounds wrong. The words are yours, but the rhythm, the melody, the tone isn't. This is foreign accent syndrome, a rare condition where someone suddenly begins speaking their own language with a new accent, often after a brain injury, stroke, or surgery. They haven't studied the language. They've never lived abroad. And yet, their speech shifts. A woman from England starts sounding Dutch. A man in the US develops something faintly Slavic. It's not acting. It's not imitation. It's the brain, damaged but still trying, creating a new way to speak. Doctors believe FAS affects the brain's speech centers, the parts that shape sound, rhythm, and articulation. The result isn't a real accent, but one that listeners interpret as foreign. For those living with it, the change feels deeper than sound. It's how others know you and how you know yourself. When it shifts, people question you, and you begin to question yourself. It's not just speech, it's identity, altered by accident. Number 8. When the world bends and breaks. Imagine looking at your hand and seeing it stretch like rubber. You take a step forward, but the hallway ahead feels like it's pulling away from you, stretching longer and longer, as if you'll never reach the end. This is Alice in Wonderland syndrome, a rare condition where your brain distorts the way you see the world, your body, and even time itself. The world stays still, but your brain insists it's shifting. Objects may suddenly look tiny or enormous. Your arms might feel too long to be real. A quiet whisper can sound like thunder, and minutes may pass without you noticing. Some people feel like they're shrinking. Others feel like they're floating. Doctors believe it's caused by a glitch in the brain's perception systems, especially in areas that control vision, space, and self-awareness. It often shows up during migraines, seizures, or viral infections. People with this condition are not dreaming. Their senses are simply out of sync. The brain redraws the world in impossible shapes, and for a moment, reality stops playing by the rules. Number 7. The city that overwhelms the mind. A man stands barefoot outside Jerusalem's old city. He's wrapped in a bedsheet and holding a wooden stick like a prophet's staff. His voice shakes with purpose as he says, "I have been sent." This isn't performance, it's Jerusalem syndrome, a rare condition where ordinary people arrive as tourists and suddenly believe they've been chosen by God. Some claim to be Moses or Mary. Others chant, preach, or walk the streets in robes, reciting scripture they've never studied. Many have no history of mental illness. They come as scholars, pilgrims, or families on vacation. But something about the city, its history, intensity, and sacred weight, pushes their minds beyond the edge. Doctors call it culture-triggered psychosis. It's usually temporary, and most recover. But for the person living it, it feels completely real. They don't act, they embody what they feel. Because in Jerusalem, faith isn't quiet. It's in the stones, the sky, the silence. And sometimes, for just a moment, it becomes too much to bear. Not illness, just belief stretched to the edge. Number 6. The strange case of the fake mom. Imagine looking at your mom, her face, her voice, the way she ties her hair, and suddenly feeling like something's not right. She seems exactly the same, but deep down, you're sure she's not your real mother. This is called Capgras delusion, a rare condition where someone believes that a loved one has been replaced by an identical double, not an actor. Not a machine, a perfect copy, just not the real person. People with Capgras aren't misremembering. They're certain, just in the wrong direction. They recognize the face but don't feel the emotional connection they expect. So the brain fills in the missing feeling with a story that makes sense. If this feels wrong, it must be a fake. Doctors think it happens when the brain's face recognition and emotional systems stop working together. The result is a strange kind of disconnection, where someone familiar suddenly feels like a stranger. It's not fantasy or panic. It's misconnection. It's the brain, misfiring in a quiet and heartbreaking way. Number 5. The face that follows you. Imagine walking through a crowd and slowly realizing that every person around you, the man with a suitcase, the woman at the cafe, even the cashier, is actually the same person. They change clothes and voices, but your brain insists it's one person pretending to be everyone. This is Fregoli delusion, a rare condition where someone believes a single individual is following them by constantly switching identities. To the person affected, it doesn't feel like fear or confusion. It feels like certainty. They don't forget faces. They recognize them too well. But their brain starts linking every new face back to one. Doctors believe it happens when the brain's face recognition and threat detection systems stop working together. Instead of seeing many people, the mind sees one hidden figure in many forms. It's not a fantasy. It's pattern recognition gone too far. And for someone living with Fregoli, the world becomes a stage of disguises where safety feels impossible, because the person they fear most always seems to be nearby. Number 4. The person who thought they were a cow. Imagine waking up and no longer feeling human. You lower your body to the ground, press your hands into the dirt, and begin chewing grass. Not play, not fantasy, a conviction. Because your mind now tells you you are a cow. This is boanthropy, a rare mental condition where someone truly believes they've become a cow, bull, or similar animal. They may walk on all fours, graze in fields, avoid human food, and make low, deep sounds. Some stop speaking. Some no longer see themselves in the mirror. Doctors say it often appears in people struggling with schizophrenia, severe trauma, or dissociation. Sometimes it begins with a dream so vivid it replaces reality. Other times, it's a slow escape, a retreat into something simpler, quieter. To outsiders, it can seem bizarre. But for the person living it, this transformation feels real and safe. It isn't make-believe, it's adaptation under pressure. And sometimes, for a mind under too much strain, becoming a cow isn't madness, it's survival. Number 3. The desire to be less, to feel whole. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, looking at your body, healthy, functional, and feeling quietly but completely. This part doesn't belong to me. Your leg moves, your arm lifts, but deep down it feels foreign, like something that was never truly yours. This is body integrity identity disorder, or Apotemnophilia, a rare condition where someone feels an overwhelming need to remove a healthy limb. It's not about pain, self-harm, or attention. It's about identity. Many who live with it say they've felt this way since childhood. Some bind the limb. Some avoid looking at it. Some imagine life without it, not as loss, but as relief. Doctors believe the brain's internal blueprint of the body may be incomplete. A part of the self was never claimed. The limb is real, but in the mind, it's a stranger. It isn't delusion. It's identity, misaligned. It's a quiet struggle to feel whole in a body that feels wrong. And for some, becoming less feels like finally becoming complete. Number 2. The person who believed they were a wolf. Imagine waking in the dark, heart racing and knowing, not thinking, not wondering, but knowing that you are no longer human. Your skin feels wrong, too tight. Your jaw aches. Your hands don't look like hands. Their fingers spread, unfamiliar, more claw than hand. This is clinical lycanthropy, a rare psychiatric condition where a person becomes convinced they are transforming into an animal, most often, a wolf. They may crawl on all fours, avoid mirrors, or stare into them and see a snarling, inhuman face. Some describe feeling fur, claws, or tails. They howl, growl, and move like the creature they believe they've become. This isn't roleplay. It's a rupture in reality. It's psychosis, usually tied to schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or deep trauma. Doctors believe it comes from a failure in the brain's body map, the system that tells us who and what we are. For those living with it, the terror isn't the transformation itself. It's the fear that they may never turn back, that the human they were is already gone. Number 1. The syndrome that makes you think you're already dead. Imagine waking up and thinking, deep down, that you're no longer alive. Not sick, not asleep, just gone. That's what happens to people with Cotard's delusion, a rare and haunting brain disorder where someone truly believes they are dead. They don't mean it as a metaphor. They might say their heart has stopped, their organs have disappeared, or that they've already been buried. Some even refuse to eat or drink, convinced that ghosts don't need food or water. This condition often appears after deep depression, trauma, or brain injury. Something in the brain's circuitry slips, and suddenly, the person stops feeling alive, even though they're walking, breathing, and talking. Scientists think it happens when the parts of the brain that recognize the body and the parts that create emotion stop working together. So the brain sees the body, but feels nothing. And from that silence, it draws a dark conclusion. I no longer exist. It's not insanity. It's a broken kind of logic, built on silence. The human mind hides stranger stories than any horror film. If you want more journeys into the eerie corners of reality, make sure you subscribe. And every like on this video helps keep these stories alive, so they're never forgotten.